MultimediaJay Radio Style.
The MultimediaJay Blog. That's blog with a B. B as in Beavis. I don't know. Yeah, just take whatever word, or Bravo, or whatever word you want to apply, and apply it here. In its first year in operation, the MultimediaJay Blog has done quite well. I've probably gained more WordPress followers than YouTube subscribers over the course of this past year. Of course, WordPress isn't as broken as YouTube, which has had all those problems with the subscription system having problems from time to time, things like that. Here's the thing. If anybody thinks they're missing the party with my blog, I'm happy to report that although blogging, the word blog comes from the term weblog, which implied some sort of online journal, I haven't done very much that's time sensitive on here. So even if you're just now finding about the fact that I have a blog for the first time, which is probably very, very unlikely because I talk about it so much, but the blog, if you're just finding out about it, you can actually go check out the post topics along the side and click a topic and read about it. I mentioned the Great Recession economic charts from time to time, which is a one post entry that has links to the St. Louis Federal Reserve type charts and things like that I keep an eye on to see if the economy is really recovering. And I may have to do some topic cleanup to make the topics a bit more distinct so you know what you're looking at when you click on one. But the intent of this blog is really a reference tool for me in terms of things that have caught my eye in the news, things that have caught my eye on YouTube and things like that. And although I may have made it sound like a side project, this is not a side project. This is as much of a series as any video series I do on this channel. The blog has a link to the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel has a link to the blog. And one of my goals for 2013 is to integrate the two more closely together. You've already seen bits and pieces of it with my podcast having companion blog entries. One of the big things that I've noticed since I've started this blog, and I should probably mention that this isn't like my response to getting laid off or anything last year. Actually, I silently started this blog in March of 2011, long before any of this nonsense began for me. Because I was tossing around the idea for a blog for quite some time, because there's some things I can do there that I would not be able to do on YouTube. One classic example is the blog entry that I used for the screenshot. I talked about why I can't stand CMOS cameras and camcorders. The reason why I can't stand them is because of the wobbly stuff, things like that. And the entry is called A Treatise on My Utter Hatred of CMOS Cameras. When I went out and I bought the Sony Handycam that I'm using, I picked it deliberately because it was CCD and not CMOS, because I can't stand the jello effect and some other things. And the treatise on my utter hatred of CMOS cameras is the kind of AV geek type thing. Should have had supper earlier. Is the kind of hatred of is the kind of write-up that I could not make a video about because I reference other people's videos in this with the embedded video feature. So rather than, having to worry about permissions and copyright and other things like that, why not just do a blog entry, embed the videos for these people and get them views too? It's a win-win situation. I get to talk about something on YouTube and they get to get some views because of it. This also represents a return of a feature that was on YouTube Profiles version 1.0 that I really liked. The old video log feature where you could put videos on your channel page that belonged to other people and type some commentary on them, that went away with the first revamp of the channels that took place that got us that ugly newspaper look a few years back. I referred to it as YouTube Vista, and that feature, although it's back in some way, shape, or form today through the playlist feature on channels, it's just never going to be the same ever again. So one way to make up for that is to have a blog where I use more embedded videos than pictures, because they don't count against any kind of server space limit, unlike embedded videos and pictures. So I've picked up some blog readers, including some blog readers that don't do anything on YouTube, which is one of the reasons I want to mix the two together. Because for some of these folks who are like, don't want to mess with anything related to YouTube, but wouldn't mind watching a video, I'll probably be able to have them actually see some of these videos through blog entries and embedding my own videos on there as well. I also like the whole thing with the companion blog entries for the podcasts, and I'll probably do that with some other stuff as well later on, where if I have a related video or something like that, just tack the video that I'm making onto a blog entry and then put the related video underneath the embed of my own video and have a little fun with that. WordPress I've found to be very, very versatile. I really like the features that it has. I also have links across the top on the blog as well to other sites, including other YouTube channels. So this definitely could be like a mini portal of sorts for folks that want to like pick my brain and see what kind of nerdy stuff I'm following these days. There's also some stuff that I wrote about on the blog that I didn't even touch on the channel, like election 2012, all the political commentary on things like that, and analysis of our first past the post voting system and things like that, because these days I'm very much a militant moderate and things like that. There are some topics that I've talked about on the blog that I wouldn't talk about in a video for reasons other than, the embedded video things and things like that. So I'd say the blog is off to a rip-roaring start. The thing is, the YouTube crowd's not going to want to click links to constantly go over to the blog too much, and they don't want to do too many clicks, and the WordPress crowd isn't going to want to click around YouTube too much. So I want to integrate the two more closely together, so that the two crowds can see what the other crowd is seeing as well, and things like that. So another good thing about the blog is that it has basically been a great way for me to quickly respond to something, like a big news story or a YouTube video or something like that. It is way quicker to write a blog entry than it is to make any kind of video about it. So rather than have all these update videos that sometimes pepper various variety channels on here where, okay, this is me, I'm sitting in front of my camera, I'm going to talk about this thing that's in the news, I'm just type it. I've been a 70 word per minute typist for many years. I type faster than I write. Yeah, I'm that much of a nerd. So I should definitely do my news commentary and stuff like that on there as well. But the blog is off to a rip-roaring start. The reason why I keep talking about it is because it has been that much fun for me over the past year since I really started writing stuff on it. And it's not very time sensitive either. If you want to go check out some stuff that, what I have to say about various topics and things like that, just go check out the topic list, because I'm deliberately trying to not, other than things like current events, which is basically responding to stuff in the news. I'm trying to make this more like kind of a clickable reference thing where any entry that I put in isn't time sensitive and doesn't go out of date, so to speak. So no matter when someone wants to go take a look and play catch up or read some stuff on there, it'll still be at least somewhat relevant to them as well. There isn't going to be very much that's time sensitive on the blog. It's going to be largely opinions, commentary, and things like that. So, without further ado, the blog's off to a pretty darn good start. Let's get back to the video series on the YouTube channel with probably the series that has made the biggest comeback in 2012. It's become a cliche for me. Play some stuff.